Welcome back to another episode of the Crypto Serpents, and if you do enjoy the videos, and don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Ripple executives had a word with mayor of Japan's fastest growing city. Is an XRP adoption likely to happen? That's right, we are kicking things off tonight with a bang. Very, very interesting to see this. What does it mean? Let's break it down. What happened, right? So Ripple, the company associated with the 7th largest cryptocurrency by market capitalization, is expanding its reach, and it plans for Asia Pacific may have just found the perfect partner in Japan. So according to the VP of Corporate Strategy and Operations at Ripple, and Takashima and his team visited Ripple headquarters today. We welcomed the Fukuoka City Mayor and his team at Ripple headquarters today. Fukuoka is the leading city in Web3 initiatives in Japan. And the people from the international department visited Ripple's headquarters. They have high hopes for the city, which is actively working on Web3. I've said it before. I'm very happy to say it again, and I will continue to say it. No one is ready for what will come in the next few years. Let me be very clear. In the next few years, what Ripple, XRPL, XRP, and everything that they do, no one is ready for the extent and the reach and the innovation that they're going to provide. So Ripple's Asia Pacific business is flourishing despite the SEC shadow. I'm going to talk on that today, and I want you to hear what Brad Garlinghouse had to say about it, because I had a couple of questions from you guys. What happens in the unlikely event that it is a loss? We'll talk about that today. If Ripple were to lose, what happens there? Well, the XRP price action is ripe for some long-term upside unless we see this happen. So in this particular article, they talk about some of the patterns that they're seeing at the moment in the market, some of the key indicators, some of the, wallet transactions, network growth and all that. And they're talking about, okay, well, if these things were to occur, then, we could see the price action drop. Now we know that, and I've spoken about it for a couple of weeks now, about the likelihood of dropping into low 30s, mid 25s. I still believe that to be the case. And I do believe that could be occurring sooner rather than later. Now, the XRP network abruptly comes to life as a number of whale transactions surges to 3-month high, analytics firm mentioned. Now, I mentioned this yesterday, and some of you did comment and message me saying, thanks for letting me know about that particular website. If you haven't seen yesterday's video, go check it out. But it's really, really important to look at the analytics, right? Sentiment is a great place to look at this stuff. It's really, 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 really good. And I think it's worthwhile checking out their socials, learning about what they're up to, because there's some cool data out there that can be extracted. That's the beauty about blockchain. It's all data driven. Right? So you can check, analyze, look. And there are specialist companies out there that look at this stuff daily to see what is going on and what can we interpret from it. XRP had 100,000 plus transactions in the previous 8 hours. The largest amount since May, and we spoke about it yesterday. Of course, we'll talk about the price today. Where are we at? What is happening with it? And what can we tell from the market so far? And where are we going next? Now, I want to play this for you, and because you've asked me before, what happens in the unlikely event that Ripple loses? Let's have a look what Brad Garlinghouse had to say, and then I'll put my own spin on it as well.
Start with what happens, right, if you do not get a ruling in your favor. XRP is called a security.
In the United States.
You would be out of the United States.
No. I was clarifying your question. The SEC only has jurisdiction in the United States. And in some ways, if you think about how the world is operating right now, it's as if the case has been lost. Other than on Uphold and maybe a few other exceptions, you can't trade XRP in the United States. You know, Coinbase halted trading, others delisted it. So if Ripple loses the case, does anything change? Like in some ways, if you think about how the world is operating right now, it's as if the case has been lost. If you think about how the world is operating right now, it's as if the case has been lost. You know, other than on Uphold and maybe a few other exceptions, you can't trade XRP in the United States. You know, Coinbase halted trading, others delisted it. So if Ripple loses the case, does anything change? Like it's basically it's status quo. Ripple is still growing very, very quickly.
Well, there are still people betting that you could win this case.
Well, I think that's the case. I'm betting that, just to be clear. And look, I'm betting that not just because of the tone of the questions to the judge and these kind of things. I'm betting that because I think the facts are on our side. I'm betting that because the law is on our side. And I think the SEC has massively overstepped into trying to take kind of jurisdictional ownership over something that is, you know, I think they saw this gray area. They're like, hey, we're going to go in. It's like any company, if the country you're based in is making it hard for you to be successful, you go other places. I mean, on a percentage basis, our growth is much more outside the United States than in the United States. 95% of our customers are non-U.S. companies. So, you know, look, we're going to continue to invest where we know what the rules are. Even though there are a lot of libertarian roots around crypto, my experience is most actors in crypto want to play by the rules. But we have to know what the rules are. And, you know, at the SEC, going back to one of the things you asked earlier, you know, they have been fighting us on the disclosure of certain documents. So this is an entity, by the way, which keep in mind what the SEC does. They demand disclosure from the companies they regulate. And they won't disclose anything.
I mean, it's interesting, right? It is so interesting. And I think he's a great speaker. And I find, you know, he makes his points really, really crystal clear. He chooses his words very, very carefully. But it's true. The world has been operating as if they've already lost. Japan, Middle East, Europe, I mean, they are all aware that they are currently in this case. So it brings up for those of you that asked that question, you know, what happens if they lose? Well, I mean, there'll probably be some panic sellers on the day of that news, just like there were when the case initially was brought upon. So that could happen for sure. There'll be panic for the first couple of days. But once the dust settles, what really has changed in the last, you know, since December 2020 until now? Nothing. Nothing changes because the rest of the world is operating and adapting and wanting to use this technology. They don't care about what the United States think. So I'm glad some of you have asked that question, and I hope that answers it for you. And this is how something that you think is a good idea can start to turn against you. Gary Gensler's gross SEC overreach. The targeting of cryptocurrency reveals Gensler's intention to expand the power of the SEC. This case, instead of being a good thing for the SEC, has actually turned against them, and it's going to go even further. It's going to go even further because they have massively overstepped. Massively. And it's going to come back to bite them, and we're going to be here with our popcorn ready to watch it all unfold. Let's take a listen to this.
The Biden administration who agree with that. You know, if it is true that Michael Barr is my successor at the OCC, I think he's likely to have more of a thesis similar to mine on this. He has a background having spent some time on the Ripple Advisory Board, for example. And on the other hand, Secretary Yellen has said some relatively skeptical things about the asset class. So I don't think it's a partisan issue. I think it's more about who's a tech adopter and who's an innovator versus who isn't.
Brian, speaking of Ripple, you worked at Coinbase, you worked in the government, albeit for under a year. So tell us, is XRP a security, yes or no?
Well, you know, these are complicated questions and matters of pending litigation, so who can say? But here's what I would tell you, though, which I think is the most important issue about XRP, and that is there is a difference, okay? There's a difference between the way in which an asset is distributed and the nature of the asset at a given moment in time. And I think the issue in Ripple that gets lost in all of the discussion is whatever happened in the original distribution of XRP tokens, 10 years ago, and whether that was or wasn't an unregistered securities offering, that's what the courts will decide. That's a different question from whether XRP today is a security. And the SEC itself has said that assets can change their nature over time as they achieve utility and as they achieve decentralization. So if I had to make a prediction, I'll just make a quick prediction. And that is that there is a settlement to be done here somewhere. And the settlement has to do with the distribution of the tokens so that existing token holders can continue to trade them and find value in them the way that they do.
I mean, again, very, very interesting and very, very true what was said. So time will tell. Time will tell how this will play out. But I do agree with that last video that we watched, where what the current tokens in their current utility and what they do and what they're up to, they're not a security. If something happened 10 years ago and then the SEC is like, yeah, but back then that happened. Okay, let's find a settlement here where Ripple pays, I don't know, a gigantic fine for what happened 10 years ago, but you cannot say that today XRP is a security because it's a currency. I mean, it's so crystal clear that it hurts my head thinking about how this could possibly not be. Now, from a price action point of view, I will mention again that mid-25s is not out of the question. Once we break out, we will start to see, it's going to be a multi-month rise. Once we begin the journey, it will be multi-month. It will be months upon months upon months. But for now, we are waiting very, very patiently for the case settlement, Ripple IPO, on-demand liquidity. But what is coming is going to be astonishing. And of course, we're going to be here discussing it, going over as it all unfolds, because things change rapidly. Now, mid-25 maximum, I just want to show you this, right? Maximum 22 cents drop. And again, it's not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but I'm just interpreting the way I see things going. If we don't hold at 32, then we will go to 22. That's how it's looking at the moment. And I just want you guys to be ready and prepared for it, because it just means more accumulation while we wait for everything to come out, which it will come out. And when it does, it's going to be spectacular. And you know what? I'm going to be with you every single step of the way. Now, if you did learn something new today, then don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. As always, thank you. Look forward to see you on the next one.